this is a big game, like
Sure it is.
I was kind of debating bringing it up before this week, but if we don't win this game, we winning 6, like bowl eligibility is 6 wins, guys, and we need 4 in the remaining 7. So, I mean, is it possible? Yes, absolutely. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not, but like, we got to take a step before we can run, kind of thing. And you need that, and I saw somebody else was like, yeah, this one game today is the difference between 8-4 and 6-6 on the year. And like, either way, you really got to count this one as a win. You really have to find a way to, to figure it out come hell or high water, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting late early this season, and I know that Cristobal, it's been asked about talent acquisition and everything, which is just the corporate jargon for recruiting. And you're going to get that from, the high school ranks and also from the transfer portal and things like that. But, yeah, it's going to take some time to get this roster fully like you want it to be. But does the roster need to be fully like you want it or need it to be to beat Middle Tennessee and not give up a performance the likes of which we've not seen from a group of 5 team in terms of vertical explosive passing in 20, 30 years or more? You know what I mean? Like, do you need All-Americans at every position to prevent that? And Virginia Tech, I know that Miami is not having the season that they desire. I know that they're not having a season that's really worth writing home about, but like, you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out on Saturday. Like, there's no excuse and there's no moral victory. There's no, like, it needs to be an actual earned win. It has to be, we scored more points than them in this game of football that took place on Saturday, the 22nd or the 15th in Blacksburg. Like, that's just what it simply has to be.
We talk about this all the time, that there have been dudes throughout the history of college football from the coaching ranks that immediately when they step on campus, the team's better.
Yeah.
Even though they inherit the same team that went whatever they went the year before, just because by their sheer ability to organize and recruit a great coaching staff and just their sheer leadership, ability to coach, scheme, everything that they can do and assemble the staff that can do it, they just make. But in this day and age with the transfer portal, there's even less of an excuse for a first-year coach because they're able to at least, back in the old days, meaning 3 years ago, you inherited what you inherited. And you were going to have minimal contribution from your freshman class that you helped to recruit maybe a little bit, but you basically had to go with somebody else's guys. And we've seen a number of examples of a great coach just being able to turn 6-6 into 10-2. But now, there's Akeem Messidor and there's Henry Parrish, and there are dudes that you were able to acquire from other teams that are legitimate all conference level type players. So there's less of an excuse these days that, okay, well, it's our first year, it's a honeymoon and we can't improve until I get my guys. The situation at Oklahoma currently, I'm like, my goodness, how in the world?
Yeah, that's I mean, I like I've said, I know that the quarterback position is singular, but like, man, like, Dylan Gabriel went down and then everything came apart at the seams. I mean, obviously it did 49-0 against Texas last week, in case you're wondering what we're talking about. But I mean, you get blown out in the Red River Shootout and things like that, and it looks bad, and the defense there has not been great. He lost to K-State before that, and it's yeah, but Venables hasn't been a head coach before, and that's a big job. Cristobal has been a head coach before, and I mean, this is a big job, so whatever. But you were at Oregon before, and and everything. So yeah, and I didn't think that this was a gut reno. You know what I mean? I thought this was an update and a facelift here, and just do some, if you want to change the interior stylings of whatever, and change your finishes and your cabinet colors and countertops, sure, but like, no, we're tearing down drywall and down to the studs, and we're going to take out all the electrical, all the piping, all the the plumbing, everything that's in there, and either start from scratch with that, or we just tore this house down, to the ground. We raised it basically, and then we're going to rebuild from scratch. I did not believe that this program was in that state of disrepair, but
I didn't either.
I think that that's the method and manner in which things are being approached from the staff, and that's maybe a little troubling, but I mean, we're already tearing the house down at this point. It's not like you can undo that. So you got to find a way to move forward. But, a step along that path has to be a win on Saturday. And I know that, there's a lot of recruits that are in this class talking about, hey, we're in this, we are dedicated to the University of Miami. We want to change the trajectory of this program, which is everybody's like, well, Saban lost to ULM his first year at Alabama. Fine, cool. All right. But like I said, one of the component pieces, if you say that, is then you're saying that this class is going to stay intact and add elite players, plural, to the group as currently put together. Fine. So you're getting a lot of guys that are saying, the right things, but eventually you got to win games, man. And that Carolina game was imminently winnable. Which is really a testament even to how things are going, because that was teetering on the edge of being a blowout. It was close there to really getting out of hand. You make it winnable, you don't win, right? But you made it winnable. A&M, very winnable. Middle Tennessee, much as I hate to say it, that game was not winnable. You got your doors blown off, right? But you got to find a way. And again, it's an ACC Coastal, your second Coastal game and things like that. And way back, an hour ago, Mark said, 0-2 in the Coastal is not terminal to the season, but 0-2 in the Coastal, that's a 4-game losing streak. That means we haven't won since the second week of September, if that's how things go, right? That's really, really putting yourself behind the 8 ball. So, and I hate to say it like that. This right now is basically when I was saying in the third quarter, this is the game on the line and we need this stop. Cam, you're overreacting. Da, 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 da. All right, let me overreact then. Like if we disagree and you think that I'm overreacting, fine. But like this game this week is such a big game for this staff, this group, this program, this season, next year even. Like this is such a huge game, and it's become that because of the failings these previous weeks. And it really is. I don't think that you can overstate the importance of this game to this season, where things stand at this very moment.
And that's one of the reasons why I opened by saying it the way I said it, that mathematically it's not necessarily crucial, but for the state of the program, the state of the team, the psyche, the opponent, who might be probably one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the conference.
Yeah.
Not, maybe they're the worst.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You have to win the game.
And that's all the other stuff that adds in. Like, yeah, they're a really bad team. And Miami is not playing much better. So if you think, and I do definitively, that Virginia Tech is very bad, I do, but Miami is not playing much better. So if you go in there and you find a way to lose that to a team that we all will agree is very or pretty bad, what I make you?
North Carolina has the talent, and now that they've won their first couple games in conference play, they have the path to maybe take off and be the team in the division. They go on to the ACC, but they certainly are not even close to being, in a place where they can be looking past anyone. They're not that good. So they could be tripping up here and there as well. We've seen Georgia Tech. Now, talk about coaching, talking about what a difference a coach can make. We saw Jeff Collins get shown the door. Georgia Tech had lost 10 consecutive FBS games, and they've beaten 2 decent teams the last 2 weeks, Pitt and Duke. They suddenly have life. They're 2-1 in the division, in the conference. Or they're 2-1. Yeah.
So, just all of those things continue to support what I'm saying about this being the most important game. Because again, if you think that Georgia Tech is the worst team in captivity, they didn't won games these last 2 weeks. What's Miami done? Had a bye week and then lost to Carolina. I know which one I would rather have. 2 wins in the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying that I want to rather be Georgia Tech. No. I'm just saying, would you rather a bye week and a loss in your last 2 weeks as a program, or 2 wins in your last 2 weeks as a program in a vacuum? I would rather 2 wins, me myself personally. So again, if you're thinking, okay, they're the worst team in captivity, if they don't won 2 games recently, so again, you're putting that in stone as a win this season, which clearly it was at the beginning of the year because they were playing so badly under Jeff Collins. They didn't beat Pitt, who's not super great. And, their coach decided that he was religiously opposed to scoring points or something. So, that's a wonderful or interesting decision. But you beat that team. You beat a Duke team who was 4-1, I want to say, going in there.
Yep.
Look, man, that's not an easy win. But then again, Miami has not really had many easy wins recently. And I don't know if that's from a belief standpoint or whatever, but again, lots of slow starts, they were just doing, so much new stuff and, different than what they put on film and da-da-da-da. We don't ever do anything different than what we put on film. We never sprint out to a 17-0 start, last year at Pittsburgh, I know that we got off to awesome start. Besides that, and besides an FBS or FCS bye game against Central Connecticut or Bethune-Cookman or FAMU or something, when was the last time that Miami got up 24-7, 17-0, 17-3? It's
and this is one of the reasons why I didn't think it was a reclamation project, is that there are 7-5 teams out there that are clearly in their place in the league. Like, they're winning the games they're supposed to win, and the 5 that they lose, they're getting hammered. They're nowhere close to the top of the league. Miami goes 7-5, but they're showing the potential. They beat the ACC champions. They beat NC State, probably the second or third best team in the conference. They both beat Clemson, Pitt, and NC State. So they're showing what their ceiling is when they're together, playing on the same page and focused. And so that doesn't, me, speak to a reclamation project.